Hey girl, welcome back to Lunch Break, the series where we talk about trending topics on your lunch break. So a couple of weeks ago, I covered Ned Fulmer, the ex-Try guy who came back to social media after cheating on his wife with an employee, then imploding him and his best friend's company, along with like the livelihoods of dozens and dozens of employees. Okay, it was a huge scandal, it was a whole thing. And now he's back doing this podcast called Rock Bottom that we covered a couple of weeks ago. In his podcast, he talks about how he specifically wants to come back to social media not as the star. He wants to be out of the limelight. And he's here simply to use his platform for good, to raise the voices of others that can't be heard.
I don't know, I see myself more as like a host and more as just a vehicle for other people's stories.
You think you're interesting enough?
No, I don't.
And guys, I am so proud to say that exactly 1 month after he said all of that, Ned decided to say, F that, and now he's on a complete rebrand via a new second channel where now he's going to do BuzzFeed Jubilee cut style video where he like tries things. Sound familiar? This is going to be a scathing review of Ned Fulmer's rebrand that he's been doing both on a personal level and as a content creator peer level. It is the worst rebrand I have ever seen in my entire life, and I desperately need to talk about it with somebody. Let's go. Okay, so as part of his rebrand, I desperately need to update you guys about his podcast because this is still going on. And I'm so proud to say, you guys, as I predicted, everyone came for Ariel and nobody stayed for Ned. Like, look at the drop off in views here. This looks like the chart of Leonardo DiCaprio's interest in women after they turn 25. Like, look at that sharp decline, bitch. Guys, the world is healing, okay? Ariana's going on tour. Demi is going on tour. Nara Smith renounces trad wives. And Ned Fulmer's podcast is doing absolute It's like watching your ex go through like a horrible divorce and they get really ugly. Every single time I look at Ned's podcast views, all of a sudden I go like, na 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 na, na 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 na. Also, as I predicted, when Ned was talking about how his podcast was going to uplift people that have hit their rock bottom, okay? Instantly I was like, oh, so he's going to raise up the voices of people that are canceled. And lo and behold, I was correct. Let me show you guys the lineup of this podcast. We have Laura Love Hardin. She was a 4 times New York bestseller, but then became a heroin addict, which is horrible. Horrible, by the way. I'm not saying that is the part I'm making fun of, all right? But she apparently committed a bunch of fraud, embezzlement, stealing. She was supposed to get 27 years in prison, but only got 10 months. We also have Shannon Beador. She's a reality TV star that committed a hit and run. My favorite one he's had on the show was Lee from America. She was a wellness influencer who hosted a matcha wellness workshop, and then she tried to blindside her guests by raising the prices to $500 a person. And when her audience was really mad at her for that, she blamed it on how people just didn't want to see a white woman win. She apparently became very anti-science, anti-intellectual. She went down like this whole MAGA alt-right pipeline. She didn't like climate change. She was anti-vax, you know, the whole shebang. And I guess now she's out trying to promote her new book where she talks about how she was unjustly canceled. Guys, this is the type of voices that we need to be platforming. Thank you, Ned, for that. And then we have Karan Soni. He starred as Dupinder in Deadpool. In my research about him, he's not canceled or anything, so I'm not necessarily sure why he went on this Ned podcast. Maybe he's desperate for attention. We've all been there. No one that cares about their social persona in any type of way or have like any morals would want to even come close to Ned Fulmer. Okay, just saying. Maybe this is his fantasy football punishment. Maybe this is his last resort for attention before he decides to do interracial couples pranks on TikTok for attention. I just want to remind everyone that Ned's whole rebrand was that he was supposed to be an ally. He is coming to try to gain our trust back. He literally says that in his podcast via trying to uplift other voices. He's trying to come across as a good person, but because he is so disingenuous about it. It just comes across as him literally upholding people that are canceled. Now, I'm not saying that those people are irredeemable or that they're like the worst people ever, okay? I'm not saying that. But you know what would have been a more genuine way to show us that you actually gave a about like raising voices and, you know, giving platforms to those who should get a platform? Maybe platforming the victims instead of the villains. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe instead of showing empathy to someone that committed fraud or a hit and run and got a slap on the wrist for that, why don't we interview people that have been a victim of a hit and run and how they've had to like re-navigate their life because of that tragedy? That's far more interesting. Why don't we platform people that were victims of wellness cults and stuff like that instead of a bitch that wants to cry, oh, woe's me, about how she's unfairly canceled? I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. It's just the fact that he really thought we were all gonna sit here and be like, oh my God, but he's got a deep vocal fry.
Hi. I'm Ned Fulmer.
And he's platforming others. And he's got a woman's head's flower pot. He's such a feminine ally. He's such a good person. I forgive him. Like, bitch, what the f? It's like watching your toxic ex buy a Labubu to try to get women to like them. It's like when your Asian mom brings you a bowl of fruit after saying the most hurtful, terrible shit you've ever heard. Like, bitch, we know what you're doing. So after 1 month of playing the remorseful husband that's just trying to gain our trusts again, okay, Ned decided that he was going to rebrand himself as the quirky, funny millennial Hufflepuff that tries things all over again. On his personal channel, he has now deleted any of his old content and is now uploading all these new shows on there, and he released this trailer.
Hey guys, welcome to my new channel. Here we go.
Oh, that is so good.
Each week, we'll be dropping videos that focus on curiosity, empathy, and comedy.
Guys, he's going to focus on curiosity, empathy, and comedy. I'm not seeing how any of those things is present in these videos that I've seen so far. Maybe he's manifesting. Maybe he's trying to summon these things like in Bloody Mary. You know, he goes in the bathroom and says curiosity, empathy, and comedy and hopes that it shows up in his life. Also, just gotta say, having your mission statement be curiosity, empathy, comedy, it's giving like the worst version of Live, Laugh, Love. It sounds like some cheap wall stickers that like the worst millennial women you know have on their living room walls. You know? Also, I just wanna say, what happened to the performative vocal fry? Huh?
Hi. I'm Ned Fulmer.
Hey guys, welcome to my new channel.
What happened to his little outfit? He went from looking like he was about to play some Father's Day golf at a country club to like he's about to host a BuzzFeed quiz show where you get to find out if you're a Slytherin or a Hufflepuff.
I'll be pushing my body and mind to the limit.
What's happening mile 11 through 15?
Blisters might be getting worse.
We'll go all the way up to 8 Gs for feeling up to it.
Learning about different jobs and hobbies. Oh, hi. Oh. I might even help others find love.
I have like a mouth or a spit fetish.
I'm hearing some red flags.
Yeah, you heard that right, guys. He's going to try to help people find love. That is literally the one thing that he should not touch, is dating shows or anything to do with love. And yet, it's the star of the trailer. I feel like he did this just to spite everyone. He's like, oh, you guys don't want me to talk about relationships because I'm a huge cheater and it was a huge scandal, but I'm gonna do it anyways. He's like an 8th grader that wants to say the N-word just because he thinks it's edgy. You know, like why would you do that?
We'll taste some of the most delicious food in the world.
Oh my God.
This is the greatest idea of all time.
I'll try some cooking too.
This is called the old slap it in a bowl technique.
Only to be brutally roasted by a panel of comedians.
There is life growing inside of me right now, but I somehow have lost my will to live.
And possibly punished. So join our community and hit subscribe for more videos that make you curious.
See you next week.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. For those of you who don't know or are not familiar with the Try Guys or BuzzFeed or any of the ex-BuzzFeed employees, all of these things that he's showing in the trailers are pretty much direct ripoffs from mostly the Try Guys themselves. The whole like trying food thing, that's like a Keith show. He has a really popular show where he eats the menu, he goes around and eats stuff. He's like the food show host on the Try Guys. Making food without a recipe thing, that is also a very popular Try Guys show that I believe was also not his idea. And then the whole like trying new jobs and stuff, this was stuff he did do on the Try Guys account. This is also stuff that like other BuzzFeed employees have done on their channels a lot more than the Try Guys have done. So as you can see, it is like just a one-to-one direct ripoff off the things that he's already done on the Try Guys. Like literally the same exact shit. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual things he's done in his new rebrand on his second channel. 2 weeks after he was playing the sad, depressed, vocal fry type husband on a podcast, he decides to get his ass in a pro wrestling ring where he gets to be Nasty Ned. Now I'm guessing that this is a part of a wrestling video that he's going to do in the future, but these clips got leaked from the people at the show on TikTok. I mean this in the meanest way possible. This literally looks like a bit that Gibby would do in iCarly. This seems like something that Dan Schneider would write in like Drake and Josh or something. Like genuinely, and I mean that in the worst way possible. This is probably the most divorced thing I have ever seen anyone do. Okay, him and Elon, they're at the top for being the most divorced people I've ever seen in my entire life. He couldn't even keep up the performative vocal fry and wear that white polo shirt for 2 weeks. He couldn't take the whole, oh my God, oh woe's me, I'm trying to platform other. No, he had to be the star. Guys, I at least waited like a couple more weeks before I unleashed like the crazy lore, the like attention whore part of my personality to Bryce. Okay, like I cannot 2 weeks. Even the most narcissistic boy that you know could pretend to be the loving, performative man for 2 weeks. And Ned couldn't even do that shit. Okay, now we need to talk about the most important shit, okay? Which is the 2 fully released videos that he has on his new channel now. So the first fully released video he has on his channel is like this blind dating AI video. The show starts off with Ned giving the most basic, shallow description of AI and how it's like taking over the world and whatnot. And then we get into the actual video where there's this girl named Cherie and she's going to be blind dating 5 guys. And the gimmick is that one of them is like talking through an AI. So he's like dating the AI option. And throughout the entire video, Ned is hosting, but all he does is just stand there awkwardly like a cuck in a hotel cuck chair. He adds absolutely nothing to the video. It's giving like the 38-year-old peeping Tom in a throuple. Now I'm not blaming the cast, okay? Because the production and Ned is in charge of making this whole interaction interesting, which they didn't. The cast also felt very uncomfortable and awkward and uncanny almost to watch. It felt like I was watching a bunch of popular kids perform their Spanish presentation in Spanish class. Me gusta spaghetti y meatballs. ¿Y tú? Delicioso. Me gusta spaghetti y meatballs. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Like that was literally how the dialogue felt this entire video. Okay, so the second fully released video on his channel is him trying to be a fighter jet pilot. And the way that he markets this series is that it's supposed to be like a docu-series that builds curiosity, it like educates the viewers about specific jobs and hobbies. And let me tell you, bitch, it is none of those things, okay? In this specific episode, Ned meets up with a fighter jet pilot. They spend the first few minutes doing like the most bare minimum surface level intro to what it is to be a fighter jet pilot. Then we get this extremely cringe like Top Gun parody, I guess. I don't know what he was thinking with that. I think he thought he ate. I think he thought he was being funny. I think that was him trying to like fish for compliments like a pick-me girl in high school. You know, it wasn't working. And then the rest of the video is literally just like Ned in this fighter jet with this pilot. And then they just do like a bunch of loop-de-loops in the air. Throughout the whole video, we don't learn any additional facts about like the fighter jets or the pilots or a day in the life of what it's like to do this every single day. Like we learned absolutely nothing from this video. The entire time, we are just watching 15 minutes of Ned's stupid ass, boring ass, vanilla ass reactions of him going like, merp, like that's for 15 minutes. The worst part about these Ned videos, dude, is that they are so boring. The best way I can describe these Ned videos is that it is the ultimate co-worker content. This is the type of shit that your NPC co-worker watches on their iPad while blasting Imagine Dragons. You know those 50-year-old women that post minion memes on Facebook? This is the type of shit they're watching on their lunch breaks. My biggest question really is like, who the is this for? It feels more like Ned is trying to do divorced dad activities and write it off as a business expense. Okay, honestly, that would have been more relatable. Like, what's next? We're gonna have Ned build curiosity being a PASPA bro in Thailand. Ned buys a Cybertruck and goes to Twin Peaks every Tuesday. Vlog. Ned gets frosted tips and attends maid cafes in Tokyo. Like, I feel like that would be so much more fun than whatever the this is. At least it would be honest. I just need to reiterate that I am just purely shocked that this man has been doing these types of videos for like 15 years at this point, because it feels like he's absolutely learned nothing. Let me just share with you guys why I believe that this type of why he's never ever going to make it like he used to, okay? It's never going to work for him. And it's because if you're going to do one of those like give it a whirl or I try X, Y, and Z type videos, it has to be one of two things. Option one is that you carry the video by being entertaining. Let's be honest, nobody gives a about a random white guy in a fighter jet. No one gives a In order for this video to work, he would need to be super entertaining or funny. The audience would need to feel like they're watching a 15-minute stand-up session or a 15-minute like entertaining bit or something like that for it to work, right? Or you could be super hot with huge cans, okay? And at that point, people are just watching for 15 minutes of pure art, right? Again, I know that is a tall ask and only 1% could even come close to doing that. That's why there's option two. Option two is that you make the whole video about an interesting topic. Instead of 15 minutes of Ned's boring ass reactions in this jet, we should have documented the training to becoming a pilot, interviewing other pilots, showing what it's like a day in the life of being a pilot like this. Why is it dangerous? Why is it hard? Why should we give a None of that is present in this video. I'm surprised he's marketing this as like a docu-series. Like we're supposed to learn something from this. It's just sad because he has the time, the money, and the resources to build curiosity on these interesting topics, but he is so concerned with being a narcissist and having the most screen time and looking like the most interesting guy, the star of the show, that it ruins the content. If he were to take a step back and view himself as a vehicle to tell a story about these interesting topics, interviewing these interesting people, these videos would be so much better. Now, if you guys thought that any of that was cringe and extremely hard to watch, I'm about to give you the chef's kiss cherry on top, okay? As you guys can probably guess, the reception has been and Ned's little ego just simply could not handle that. So allegedly, he may or may not have been buying views and followers so that his ego can sleep at night. But the reason why I say this is because when you look at his fighter jet video, again, with 1 million views, it has 256 comments and 800 likes. Let's compare this to his podcast episode with Ariel that also has 1 million views. And that video also got review bombed. It also had a lot of hate comments. It went super viral. And on that video with Ariel, it has 8.2K. 10 times the amount of likes, and it has 16,000 comments. Now let's compare it to one of my videos that has 1 million views that didn't get review bombed. It was just a normal video that people enjoyed. 2,700 comments. So 10 times the amount of comments and 40,000 likes. The way that the views are coming in is very weird. 450K, 420K, 487K, 441K. It's very weird. And especially for the AI video, it was at 8,000 views for 8 days. And then on the 9th day, it happened to get exactly 109K views. It just doesn't make sense, especially paired up with the low amount of engagement. As someone who's done content creation, and anyone will tell you this is a very odd and a highly unlikely pattern of views and engagement. You guys can draw your conclusions from that, okay? The funniest part of this all is that he seems to only be view botting the videos where he's the star. All those people that he said that he needs to build curiosity, he wants to platform those without a voice, he's like, f them. I don't give a f if they said at 2,000 views, no one needs to see their little bitch ass. But me, in a fighter jet, that needs 1 million views. The fact that he also view botted the AI dating show, but not nearly as much as the show that he starred in, is so funny to me, guys. I have no words. Like, what a clown. Literally what a clown. I don't even know what to say. Lastly, I want to show you guys that the Try Guys made a little statement via this little skit here. And it's just the Try Guys employees like making little jokes about like, oh my God, I hope Keith didn't see the scandal. And then Keith kind of just makes a statement that he doesn't really seem to care. And if you want to support the Try Guys, you can do so via their Patreon instead of watching Ned. And it was just a little nod that it seems like the Try Guys, they know. They know his bitch ass is not going anywhere. I'm sure Ariel is sitting there like Cersei Lannister looking at this shit, laughing her ass off. Guys, the saddest part of this all is that he is so boring and uninteresting that he's not even good at being divorced. He can't even wear like a funky print on a shirt. He's had the same haircut since Bush was in office. Like at least Elon was trying to overthrow democracy in his divorce phase. Like come on, Ned, do some interesting shit for one. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!